As we have been reporting today, marks 1 year since Hamas launched its surprise terror attack on Israel, including the Nova Music Festival, where more than 360 people were killed and 40 were taken hostage. Survivors share how their world changed that morning in a new See It Now Studios documentary from Paramount Plus. It is called We Will Dance Again. Here's a look.
I see a bunch of people looking up to the sky. Okay, probably just like seeing the sun rise or something.
The last video I took from my phone was at 6:28 in the morning. It was the last drop that he played. The moment that I stopped filming, someone grabbed my hand and showed me the sky. We yelled into the crowd, Seva Adom, Seva Adom. Everyone scattered. It was like a screen coming up from the sky of rockets, just like...
The most rockets I've ever seen in my life.
We laid on the ground. I was honestly scared. You're in an open field. There's rockets everywhere. Nothing is stopping these rockets from falling exactly where I am right now.
Omer Shem Tov was one of those festival goers, having initially escaped on foot. He actually got out. He went back after losing track of 2 of his friends. Throughout the morning, he was able to communicate with his family until they watched as his phone's live location showed him moving into Gaza. Now, just 1 day earlier, think about this, Omer was celebrating his mom's birthday. He is one of nearly 100 hostages taken that day who remain in Gaza today. Omar's cousin, her name is Liat Corinne Unger, joins us now. I'm so glad to see you. On one hand, I'm glad you're here. On the other hand, I wish you weren't. I wish we were not having this conversation. There's so much, Liat, going on in the Middle East now. I worry sometimes that the hostage story is being moved down to the bottom of the list. That's why I think it's so important that we talk about it on this day in particular. So bring us up to date, how you're holding up, what your family's thinking, and what you've heard.
I think we are, like you, terrified that this is not something that's being prioritized right now, especially with the focus shifting to the northern front. And at this point, we're just surviving. It's really difficult to think that it's been a year, and at this time, Omer was running through the fields with thousands of people trying to run for his life. So it's a difficult day to think about.
Did it surprise you to hear that he was actually out and had run back to look for others, to get his friends?
So he had a moment where he could have fled for safety.
Yeah, and chose not to.
And he chose not to leave Maya and Itai behind, who were released in the last ceasefire deal in November. There was actually a boy called Ori Danino who successfully escaped the terror scene and went back for Omer, Maya, and Itai, and he was murdered last month.
Liat, his birthday will be coming up later this month.
Yes, October 31st.
You don't know...
How old is he? Will he be?
He's 21, and he'll be turning 22. Hopefully he'll be home by then.
Okay.
As I understand it, your last update with any kind of information about the conditions that he's in right now was November of last year.
That's right.
What was that update, and what do you think is going on now?
He's struggling to breathe. He has asthma. He's not allowed to cough out loud. Unfortunately, they are threatening him with death not to make any noise. He's suffering with a tremendous amount of pain. He has celiac disease. There's not a lot of food. There's no light. They have a flashlight, but somehow Omer, despite all those challenges, remains super hopeful and clings on to his faith. He manages to ration food and bless the Sabbath. I hope he's still able to do that. And apparently he's become also more observant by not turning on a flashlight on the Sabbath as a Jewish ritual we have. And so I'm hoping he's still being strong for us.
In your opinion, what do you believe is the biggest obstacle of why there has not been a hostage deal done?
I mean, the Biden administration has made it clear that the biggest obstacle is Yahya Sinwar. But I think that the international community has failed to pressure Hamas through Iran, Qatar, and Turkey. And they're prioritizing political interests instead of prioritizing the sanctity of human life.
Yeah, Sinwar is the head of Hamas.
Yes.
So what do you believe, as we sit here today, that it will take to reach a deal?
I think now that we're looking at this northern front, we need to de-escalate the situation and avoid a regional war, and the hostages must be at the top of the priority list. There should be no discussion of a ceasefire deal without a discussion of the hostages. And so if the international community comes together and really prioritizes human life and wants to avoid continued suffering in the region, which it's been a year of ongoing suffering.
Haven't they done that, Liat? Hasn't the international come together and say this has got to end? I'm trying to figure out what will it take to finally move the needle on it.
It's a good question. You know, I'm not a political advisor. I don't have enough
Yeah.
knowledge of it. But at the end of the day, if they've done it, it hasn't been enough because at the end of the day, Omer and 100 other hostages are not home.
If Omer, by some miracle, could hear you ahead of his birthday, what would you want him to know?
That an entire nation is fighting for him and that he should continue to stay strong and continue his faith and that he should be proud of his parents and his siblings for staying so strong and being a source of optimism and hope and strength, just like he is for the last year for the Israeli nation.
What is your family doing to stay strong? I'm curious. I can't imagine what this is like for you and your family.
Well, we don't have the privilege of not staying strong.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. And I think getting that piece of information about Omer, that he is remaining strong in such a difficult situation, and also knowing that we are resilient and that in the end, I believe the world will come together for humanity to prevail.
How do you feel about the job Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is doing?
I think his focus is on other things right now. It hasn't prioritized the hostages. I think it's great that we've made some advancements with Hezbollah and we've taken out a lot of their leaders. But I wish he focused on his commitment to bring back innocent people who were stolen from their beds and from a field.
Liat,
Dancing to music.
Dancing to music.
thank you so much for
Comprehensible.
joining us.
Thank you for
I
having me.
know these are difficult times. We
Thank you.
appreciate you.